Hey, it's me, and I'm sorry for the terrible lighting, but I'm doing a reading vlog. Forgot to do the intro. But for today's video, I'm reading 3 women's books just because that's the only thing I've been in the mood to read recently. So I thought, let's stop fighting it and just read 3 women's books. Also, romance is just something I've gotten into recently, so I just wanted to do a video, maybe broaden my horizons. Not really, but we'll see. I have 3 books, all very different. The first one is It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. This is the 7th book in the Bridgerton series, which Bridgerton series is kind of where my obsession for romance started. So adult romance started, and it's historical as well, which is what I've mainly been reading a lot of. So we have this book that I'm going to be starting with. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit more about it later. And we have the Falling in Love Montage by Sarah Smith. This is a YA contemporary romance, mainly because I wanted to read something queer in this video, and this is the one on my collection that just called to me the most, but also because YA contemporary is where officially I discovered I liked reading romance stories. So, you know, how to get back to my roots for this video. And then we also have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Amonchot, which is an adult fantasy romance, which I believe the only fantasy romances I've had is Sarah J Maas. So switching things up, those are the 2 books I'll be reading in this video, starting off with It's in His Kiss. In this book we follow Garrett Sinclair, who had in the prologue of this book finds out that his father isn't actually his father. His mother had an affair and it's not the son. And his father kicks him out of the house and cuts off any money flowing towards him, but he's still in the will and everything to avoid complete scandal in a way. And then we skip forward a couple of years and the book actually starts at the Smythe-Smith musicale, where Hyacinth and Garrett meet. Hyacinth Bridgerton, of course, the last of the Bridgerton siblings, the youngest. Basically, Garrett comes in possession of the diary of his grandmother, and it's in Italian. He doesn't understand Italian, Hyacinth does, so she translates it for him, and that's how they spend more time together. And of course it's their romance, because this is a romance reading vlog, so maybe it wouldn't. And yeah, I'm gonna be going over to the clips where I was reading this. Hi, first update. I'm sorry the lighting is a bit shit, but the weather was just not working with me. So it's pretty dark in here. I apologize, but you can still see me, so that's a good thing. But first update, I'm reading It's in His Kiss. I'm 186 pages, and I'm not really having a system of when I should update you. In the past I have either done that at each quarter, halfway through, and I just thought I would do it now every time I've read something, because I don't know, those set times to update just weren't really working for me in previous vlogs. We're trying it this way. Maybe by the next book I'll already go back to each quarter or halfway through. We'll see. But I'm 186 pages through this book, which I believe is over the halfway mark. Just looking at the placement, I'm really liking this. Hyacinth was a character that was pretty present in the background of the previous couple of books, but I feel we never really got a moment to shine for her. But she's shining in this book, and I'm loving it. I also really like the guy whose name is Garrett. I've been reading a lot of books recently where Garrett is the guy's name, and it's always spelled differently, which is interesting because I didn't know there were that many ways to spell Garrett. But anyway, that's his name, and he is also a very interesting character. I really like his dynamics with Hyacinth, just even on a friendship level. I think they are amazing together, but of course this is a romance and they have great attraction together as well. And at this point, I love to call this idiots in love, because that's once I've seen this trope being described that way once, and I don't know if there's an official name for it, but that's how I'm calling it. It's when 2 people have huge crushes on each other, but don't realize that the other does. And this is doing that, and I love that. I don't know why. I know it for some people that's infuriating to have both be like, oh, I love them, or like I'm attracted to them in this case, or like I have a crush on them, but they can't like me. Obvious they don't like me. Well, then you switch perspectives and the other person is thinking the exact same thing. But I love that kind of shit. I think some people also call it mutual pining. I don't know. I prefer the term idiots in love because I feel like that much more describes what I'm going for, because they are idiots. There's also kind of this subplot with Garrett's like the diary of his grandmother and like what's going on there. It's kind of like a little bit of a mystery, and I really like the side plot. I believe this is the first one in a series that really had like a serious side plot. The other ones were just like romances, but this one really has like something going on for it, and I liked the element. It's not like it was something I'm lying. Romance in Mr. Bridgerton also had like a Lady with Sundown side plot in it as well. But for the rest, I believe the other ones didn't really have that much of like a real side plot in it. And yeah, I'm really enjoying that in this one. I don't really know what else I have to say. I'm really liking this book. I really like the chemistry between the two main characters. I like the two main characters separately as well. I like the plot. I love the side characters. Oh, that's the thing I have to talk about, because this is also the first time we properly get a moment for Gregory. Like in Eloise's book, we also got adult Gregory showing up, but he was kind of like overshadowed by the other brothers. But in this one, we just get Gregory and Hyacinth interacting, and it's hilarious. I love it. So now I'm also getting really excited for Gregory's book, which I've heard is amazing. So yeah, I'm reading that at some point. You'll see. Hi, it is the next day, and I have good news. I finished It's in His Kiss, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. I really love this. I just want to say that in my last update, I talked about how I like the mutual pining in this. And then as I started reading, like that kind of, I don't know, didn't really stop, but like they got more like involved with each other, you know? But that doesn't really take away. There was still like some mutual pining in this that I really enjoyed. But yeah, I really love this. Hyacinth is an amazing main character. I really love following her. She's very different from other main characters. I think from like female main characters in the series, she is like most comparable to Penelope, which you can tell by the fact that those two are the closest to Lady Danbury. That makes sense. But like Hyacinth is just like a little bit different as well, and I really like that. Not necessarily to say that the other characters are bad or like too similar, because they're not. It's just like a very different type of main character than we've had in the series so far. I had a great time with it. Garrett, also amazing, loved him. I especially loved him like falling in love with Hyacinth and realizing he's falling for her, and that was just so well done. I really liked it, because like for him it was more of a thing like, what's going on with Hyacinth? Like she was like, oh yeah, you know what, I saw this coming a little bit. So like there was difference in that. I really liked it. I really, like I said before, I also really like their friendship and their banter before they get together in this. But the chemistry, the tension between them, it's just, it's so good. The side storyline of her translating his grandmother's diary was really interesting, and what was going on there is again also with his like family history. It's just like very interesting, and I really liked that was included in this book. But I didn't necessarily take over the romance, but also like wasn't so minimal that you're like, why is this in here? Like it all just like was well balanced out, and I really liked this. So yeah, yay, a success. The next book I'm reading is The Falling in Love Montage by Sierra Smith. This is a YA contemporary, and it's a romance because it's called The Falling in Love Montage. But my love for contemporary romance comes from YA, and I feel like I haven't read enough of them lately, because every time I'm in a romance mood, I pick up an adult. But I'm going back to my roots, and I need something sapphic. Hi, welcome to the vlog again. I'm in my living room. I don't know why, but the lighting here was like terrible once I started filming. Like for me, like it's normal lighting in here, but for you it looks like it's super dark. I apologize. But I thought I'd update you because I'm 102 pages into the Falling in Love montage, and I'm not liking it. Which is surprising, because I picked this, I accidentally closed it. I picked this up because I saw like my For You page on TikTok was just full of people like raving about this book. That's why I originally bought it. but I'm not liking it at all. Let's me give you a premise. We follow our main character who doesn't believe in love after her girlfriend of a long time broke up with her, and her parents aren't together anymore, and she's kind of been more of a not she still had like little flings, like non-committal things, just like kisses, nothing more, makeouts. And then one day at a party, she meets this girl who's in town for the summer because she's living with her cousin, and this is the summer before she goes off to college, her main character. So, and like they immediately kind of like hit it off and like have this sort of like attraction towards each other a little bit. So they decide to spend the summer together, reliving like a bunch of rom-com tropes, because our main character doesn't love rom-coms, but the love interest does. So they decide to do that because they're like, if we know that if this is just for a summer, like we won't experience heartbreak, will just be like the fun thing, because we knew how long it was gonna last from the beginning. And I can already tell you that's gonna go on, but apparently they both thought it was a good idea. But yeah, not having a great time with this because of the main character. She's so annoying, and she centers herself so much that it just is getting so annoying to read. Like, she centers her and her mom, especially because her mom has young dementia, and she feels like everyone is against her mother, and it's terrible. Like, yes, I can get how sometimes like changes in your life and that come along with having your mother have young dementia and being in a like, I don't know what's called in English, but she is like in a care home, I guess that's how you call it in English. I'm not entirely sure, I apologize. But like, she is somewhere where they can take care of her, not living with the family anymore. And I get that that's difficult, and especially because her father is also like has recently gotten engaged to someone else. Like, I can understand that those are like very difficult changes, but the way that she's reacting to everything is just so annoying, and like a 5-year-old child instead of an almost adult. Like, you should have a little bit more of a sense of reality, you know, rather than just thinking that the whole world revolves around you and your mom and everybody hates you. And she also has just like this thing where she pushes away people just for the sake of pushing away people. Like, you can tell that the author very much wanted an edgy, like brooding main character, and that's the only reason why she's pushing away people, and she holds grudges against people for the exact same reason. Like, there's no reason for you to be mad at this person, but you're still doing it because whatever. And it's so annoying. And then also to have we have like this big chunk at like the beginning where she's like constantly talking about, I don't do romance is for sucker, I don't believe in romance, like romance is fake, not real, love is fake. And then she immediately falls for the love interest upon meeting her. Like, there's not loving, it's just like a crush. But I felt like it's so like, I'm 102 pages in and they're on the first date already. Like, I'm barely in. How are you if this is a person who is generally supposed to despise everything romance and think love is fake, how is she like so quickly falling for someone? It just isn't really aligning with me. I do quite like the love interest, so I am quite excited to like see more and learn more, because I do think that with these family dynamics that could go in an interesting route as we continue in the book. But right now it's just frustrating. Hi. Wow. Hi. I am a little over 200 pages into the book. I am 214 pages in. I'm not updated you at logical points at all, but anyway, it's a couple of hours later, 214 pages into the book, and I have new thoughts. What I said earlier about like the romance seeming cute, forget that. I feel like there's no real chemistry between the two characters, and I feel like we barely know the love interest, which is partially our main character's fault, because she doesn't want to talk about personal stuff with anyone. So that's keeping like wall in between them. But earlier on we had like a big scene where at least the love interest like revealed a lot about her personal life. The main character still didn't, and I still feel like I don't really have a great sense of who she is, the love interest. I just kind of wish that was a bit developed more, because honestly there's a friendship in this between our main character and the love interest's cousin that has a lot of chemistry, just platonic chemistry, not romantic chemistry, but you can generally tell from like the way they're interacting, like the banter, and even though we don't know a lot about this character, it's still there's a lot of chemistry between them as friends, and just having that there just makes me even more sad that the romance doesn't have any chemistry, and I feel like I barely know who her love interest is, even though technically I know more about her love interest than about her cousin. I feel like I know the cousin better, you know? So yeah, that's an issue I'm having. I'm also still having an issue with our main character, because she's just the worst. Literally constantly also just like talking shit about her father. Well, we have seen her father be nothing besides like a very good person and a good father, and he's still like, she's constantly shitting on him, and it's getting really annoying, especially because, you know, we're seeing what she's seeing. So the fact that I can in all good consciousness say he's a very great father and a very good person, the fact that she can't do that just annoys me so much. I'm not having the worst time. I do think with the way this is going right now, this will be a 3-star book, but I'm not that happy with it, you know? So yeah, but a lot can happen in this last 100 pages or so. Maybe I'll like it more, who knows. Hi, it's getting dark out. I thought terrible lighting again, but I finished Falling in Love Montage. And I'm giving this 2 stars, which I wasn't expecting. Honestly, with the way this book was set up, I generally had a feeling that I knew how everything was gonna play out. And even though it's like, you know, it's cliche, but I do think something interesting could happen here. And then it did something completely different and made me hate everything. So, 2 stars. The main character is so insufferable, and she doesn't go through any development throughout this book. The only thing that changes is that she's emotionally constipated throughout the entire book, and then towards the ending she explodes and like her feelings come out, but like for the rest nothing else happens. Like, she doesn't change her very selfish ways. She's very hypocritical. She doesn't stop being an asshole. Like, all of those things don't change, which made me very furious. So yeah, the whole conflict between, like, the third act conflict for the couple was expected, but just the way like her family drama was wrapped up, I hate it so much. Like, honestly. And then again, romance, didn't really feel any chemistry. Still don't really have a great sense of the love interest. I also feel like our main character was very hung up on her ex, and that lasted throughout like most of the novel. And that also just rubbed me the one way, because how am I supposed to like believe in a new romance when you're constantly talking about your ex and how much you're still in pain over that and how much you still love that person? I'm like, it never worked for me. So yeah, 2 stars. Very disappointed by this because I wanted to love it so much. Last book for the video is from Blood and Ash by Amonchot. I'm very scared about this because it's definitely like the most hyped one from this video, and it's also like a very pretty edition, like has sprayed edges and like piano art. So I desperately want to love this one. Hi, I am here from my living room to tell you that I'm about to start from Blood and Ash by Amonchot, and I thought it would be fun to show you how I've been liking to read recently. So basically, a hobby I have discovered is like something I really got into recently. I don't know if you noticed, is collecting vinyl, because that's, I don't know why, it's just a thing I got into. The first vinyl I ever got, let me show you, special for me, it's Confetti by Little Mix. Is the first vinyl I ever got, and has a special place in my heart because of it. And that's how all of this madness started. I only have 14, I believe. Yes. Also, fun fact, number 13 was the Red Taylor's version, which I think is cool because, you know, 13 is like Taylor Swift's lucky number, so that my 13th vinyl was the Red Taylor's version. That was fun. But that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I have found that playing a vinyl while reading is something I really enjoy, and it's helping me a lot to like focus on a book and like really just sit down for however long an album is and listen. So that's what I'm gonna do with you today. Let's just do this together with you. I am gonna be playing, first of all, Evermore by Taylor Swift, because this one I really love to listen to while reading because it just has like those chill vibes. It's very autumny, and I feel like it will work very well with a fantasy book. So that's what we're doing. Hi, I'm extremely tired, so apologize for this update, but it's late. But I'm halfway through from Blood and Ash. You can't really see because of the spray edges. I'm halfway through. I did it. I am 274 pages into it. I'm gonna have a hard time explaining what this book is about, so bear with me. But basically we follow Poppy, who is a maiden, which is some kind of like chosen one type figure. I don't understand it either, and there are very strict rules on her because of this. Main one that are important because it's a romance novel is that she can be like touched or like kissed or anything by anyone. She also like can have friends, can talk to a lot of people. Her face has to be covered like at all times except when she's alone. You know, there's a lot of rules around that. And she kind of like hates like the life she's living. She wants to like go out there and fight like the evil that is out there and like actually make a change in the world rather than just like being trapped in a room most of the time. And at the beginning of this book, she has escaped into town and she comes across Hawk, who is a new like guard where she lives, and everyone has been talking about him, but she's like in disguise obviously because she escaped. They have like a moment together which breaks the rules, let's just say it that way. And then like stuff happened and there is like an attempt to kidnap her, and in that one of her like personal guards was killed, so now Hawk is assigned to be her like the other person to replace that personal guard. That's the way to say things, I think. So yeah, obviously there is some romantic tension there, and yeah, I explained this terribly, I know, but that's because I feel like even though I've seen a lot of complaints of this book that is very info dumpy, and I agree for a part because it is like not a whole lot has happened in this book, but I quite like fantasies that have like a slower start and really give you time to be like immersed into the world and don't immediately go into action. Even though I've loved some books who do that as well, I don't mind the slower paced book, I really don't. So I'm liking that with this book, but I feel like even though I do have like a great sense of the world in a sense, I still kind of disagree with people who say that this is very info dumpy in the beginning, because there are still so many questions I have and so many things I don't understand. Like the whole like maiden thing, I don't really understand what that is, and there was a lot of like other like religious things that are very prevalent and important in this book. You can tell when amounts of times they're mentioned, but they're never explained, at least so far. So I'm a little bit confused on that front, but at the same time, like there wasn't that much plot going on for me to like my confusion to like hinder my enjoyment, if that makes sense. And as things are a little bit more unfolding, I'm guessing we're getting more explanation soon, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, I quite like the characters. Like Poppy is very much like a typical JLA protagonist, but I feel like in a less insufferable sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't find her as insufferable as like other characters, because I feel like it's easier to understand her like rebellious side, I guess. Like her headstrongness, it kind of makes sense because she's like forced in such like a tight space that it makes sense that she wants to break out of that in a way. And then Hawk is like very mysterious. We don't know a whole lot about him, but I am intrigued. And then there's also a couple of side characters I really like. And yeah, even though not a lot has happened for the romance yet, because of course with such strict rules being put on Poppy, it has to be like a bit of a slow burn. So I totally understand that. But I quite like the moments we still get between the two characters, and their banter is pretty great, and I like seeing them getting to know each other a little bit more. I appreciate that. I don't immediately need them to be like kissing all the time, you know? Don't expect that. So yeah, I'm actually having a good time with this. It's not perfect, but I'm having a good time. I think if it continues at this point, it might probably will be a 4-star, which is good. I'm going to sleep and I'll update you tomorrow, hopefully, when I've read more. Hi, quick status update. It is Wednesday, aka the day I wanted this video to go up. Still hoping I can get it done, but I'm not finished with from Montage yet. I'm on page 336, which means I still have a lot to go. I still have like 220 pages, which is much more than I wanted to be. But yesterday just didn't go as planned. As you might be able to see, I had a hair appointment yesterday, so I had to get my hair done. So I was expecting to like not read as much yesterday as I did on Monday, just because, you know, doing this takes time. But we ended up actually being on earlier at the hair appointment because my mom and I both went. Just going at the same time is easier. But we ended up going and being on earlier than like we expected. So like nearby of like the hairdressers, like recently a lot of like new stores opened, and we've been meaning to go there, but like we haven't really got a chance to. So because we were done earlier than expected, we thought to go, and then we ended up being away longer than planned at all. So I didn't really get the chance to read a whole lot, but I still think I managed to read about like 50 pages, I think, maybe 60, I don't know, I can't count correctly. Also, going to like those new stores, I like slipped and fell and I hurt my arm pretty badly. Like nothing serious, but I don't have a wide range of movement in my left arm, which is terrible because I'm a lefty. So I'm not doing anything today except read. So hopefully I can still get this video out to you today. Otherwise it will be for tomorrow, but who knows. Hi, how you doing? Again, later in the evening than I would like. My hair is definitely not working with me now. But I finished from Blood and Ash, and I am happy to inform that I ended up giving this 4 to 5 stars. So exactly where I expected it to go when I was halfway through, which is, you know, great. I really enjoyed this book. I was right that in the second half a lot more explanations for things in the world were given, and a lot of questions I had were answered. Of course, a couple of new ones were added, but that's definitely going to be answered like in the further books. But I really actually quite liked the way things were explained and like the lore behind everything. The big reveals towards the end I did see coming, but I really like them, so I'm not complaining. And I like the way they were done as well. It just kind of course, there are clues towards them, so you know you can pick up on it. But yeah, I quite like this. The only main complaint I have about this is in like the last little bit of this book, I feel like Poppy, like a reveal happens, and like the way she acts after that reveal, I feel like there are some things that like make sense, but a lot of it is also like out of character for her, I think. And just like, you know, it's not out of character, but if it's not out of character, she's the biggest hypocrite in the world, or it's just out of character. But for the rest, I quite like this, and I am very excited to continue on with this series. So yeah, but I have heard that it gets worse as it progresses, but so far I'm very intrigued, so who knows, you know. And yeah, that has also brought me to the end of this vlog. How are you doing? Let me get the other 2 books real quick. These are the 3 books I read for this video. You have a 5-star, 2-star, and a 4-star, which is pretty decent. Usually with these themed reading vlogs, I try to do something and be like, oh, it's a success or not. I just wanted to read romance and I needed content, so that's why this video exists. Doing another reading vlog immediately after this. I don't know when it's going up, but I'm starting to read the first book for that tomorrow. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna have to use this arm. Bye.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated?